So the first was just around estate planning that we're helping some clients work through. Reasonably relevant for the client. Last year, 2011, late 2011, he had a double bypass operation on the heart, so sort of planning for the next phase is top of mind for them. So we were asked just to help give them some thought around what their estate planning aspects might look like, specifically around superannuation and what they can do with their superannuation fund. So the client has a self-managed superannuation fund, so mum and dad. The fund itself is worth $2 million, 1.3 million in the dad's name and 700,000 in the mum's name. The main assets of this super fund are $1 million worth of blue chip shares, and then where's Angela? Help me out here. About 750 worth of property, and leaving 250 of other bits and pieces, presumably cash. So this property that the super fund owns, that's here in East Brisbane, so it's quite a nice property which they would like to have as the retirement home. Okay, so are mum and dad able to access or live in that home? Oh, Chris, where's Chris? You're going to rack up my coaching ones out, right? Cool. That's all right. So are mum and dad able to live in that house where it's owned by the super fund?
No, might be there for a
Why not?
Because you can't use like related assets.
The fund can't own related party assets, or you can't live in a house that's owned by.
That's right. So members of the super fund can't have use or have the benefit of super fund assets. Okay. So what does that mean if they want to live in this place?
But it's sell.
They've got to, sell it out to themselves. They've got to buy it. Okay. So that's one option. Mum and dad could go and buy that house out. Okay. What price would they have to pay for the house? Yep. Market. All transactions between members and super fund need to be done at arm's length. Okay. So mum and dad need to scrounge up 750,000 and buy that property. That's one way. What's another way?
The age of the client's relevant. Have you mentioned the ages?
No, not yet. Nice hint.
Can we pull it out as a pension or lump sum pension?
Great. Okay, so on that, Maggie, so when and how?
So when they turn 60 or they retire, we can start pulling out larger amounts, and it's tax-free as well.
Yep. That's right, good. So Dad turned 65 March this year. Okay. So once you hit 65, basically you can access any amount of money out of your superannuation fund. There's no restriction on how much money you can take out. Okay. So what we could do is after March this year, he actually take that full property, as Maggie said, as a lump sum or as a pension payment out of the fund. Okay. So that's likely a sensible way, because mum and dad then don't have to actually come up with the cash to put in. Their home as it stands now where they're living is worth $4 million. So the plan will be at some point they sell that, they will have plenty of cash. So we could do it at that time, but if they wanted to accelerate that move or that downgrading process, they could look to do that certainly after March next year. Okay. So that's one aspect that we considered. The other was then the client, is thinking of these shares in the blue chip companies as legacy shares for the children. What he would like to do is ideally pass those shares on to the kids. Okay, so there are two ways that that can happen. Who can give me the first? It's a simple one. Die. Yeah, that's right. So they simply die. The fund pays out, and then the kids have this money which they go and buy those shares again with. Okay, so that's at the risk of the kids get the cash and away you go. So what's another option?
Is it they still die, but you put them in a testamentary trust?
So yeah, that could be another way, but those shares themselves will all have to sell out. Yeah. So again, what they then buy back into is a question mark. So they're going to sell this home. What does that mean?
Have cash.
They'll have cash. That's all right. And what could they do with that cash, Angela? Or someone else? What's that, sorry?
Buy the shares from the super.
Yeah, they could buy them out, that's right. Again, that would have them taking assets out of superannuation. And is that necessarily the greatest thing, planning-wise overall?
No.
No.
Why not?
Because then it's in their own name.
In their own names, that's right. And then when they die, the shares themselves will get left. That's okay to the kids, so they might get where they want with the shares. But for between that point when they're going to die and now, then that's an asset that's outside of superannuation, which they're paying tax on. Whereas if we keep those shares inside super, what does that mean?
Tax-free.
Tax-free, that's right. So we're much better off keeping the shares inside the structure where the dividends are coming in tax-free, and they can live off the earnings in a tax-free way too, okay? So to keep those shares there still doesn't give those shares to the kids ultimately. So how can we make that happen? So basically with this $4 million that they'll have in their hands once they sell that home, is there anything to stop them gifting $450,000 each to the kids and the kids contributing that money in to super as a non-concessional contribution? You see where I'm going with this? So they can put $450 into super in cash, and in essence then they between them have $900,000 worth of superannuation, the kids themselves, so that when it comes to if mum and dad die the next day, we could pay out the other assets but keep those shares, albeit 100,000, would stay inside the fund. Makes sense? So all we've done is just put some cash into the fund, knowing that ultimately when mum and dad go, we won't be forced to sell these shares to fund the death benefit out for mum and dad. Because the kids' balance equates to what those shares are worth. See that? Okay, so it's sort of it's a unique opportunity in the sense that we've got that cash and we can position it. What it means for the kids is, of course, they now won't have the benefit of that until they hit their preservation age. So, but those kids themselves are 20, early 20s.
Yeah.
So, this is a very long-term planning strategy. But they now know and feel secure in the fact that the kids ultimately, there is something there for them to come through. Okay?
The other advantage too, that it's not there for too soon.
Yes, that's right. Because there's still at least $3 million worth of assets floating around here, which will make their way to the kids, because they can help them out in buying a home or whatever. Okay, with those funds. Okay. So that's just a scenario of using cash available and helping to tick off the client achieve a few goals, if you like. One, access to the property that they want to live in, and two, passing on those legacy shares to the kids, so the kids, they can die knowing that there's something there of value for the kids ultimately once they hit the mark.